Green Ilminster was started in the summer of 2019, a group of like-minded people coming together with a shared will to try and make a difference for our planet. We became a community interest company in 2022. We knew from the start that we wanted to encourage as many people in our community to engage with us as possible, to encourage people to take an interest in environmental issues, doing things that lots of people could see the value of, and maybe wanted to join in. Essentially, we didn't just want to be seen as the local tree huggers. Not that there's anything wrong with hugging a tree. With that in mind, Green Ilminster's activities have evolved to include regular quarterly litter picks, a very active tree planting and maintenance group, a river aisle testing group as part of West Country Rivers Trust scheme, Green Ilminster talks, and our share and repair shop. Through these activities, we formed such a positive network of people who, for all sorts of reasons, care enough to give a bit or a lot of time and effort to help our local and wider community and its environment. Our share and repair shop is a brilliant example of this in action and is the project that has benefited recently from the generous funding from the Gooch Charitable Trust through Somerset Community Foundation. Thank you. Our our little shop is a result of a light bulb moment when Natalie, our project lead, and myself spotted a small shop for rent in Ilminster High Street. Green Ilminster had ambitions to start a repair cafe from its beginnings, thwarted in the main by COVID. It unfortunately never quite got off the ground. But our little shop, however, once the seed was planted, it really did start to grow. We put a few feelers out on social media to test the water, and the response was so positive that the idea just took on a life of its own. We soon had a group of enthusiastic and motivated volunteers who were ready to go. Between us, we put a plan in place, and before we knew it, it was opening day. The first day really was one of the most positive and joyful experiences I've ever had. The shop was bustling all day with people popping in to find out more and see if they could help. We had definitely hit on something. Everyone understands why it's good to fix stuff. Ooh, got the quivers. The first 6 months was a very steep learning curve, in recognising and responding to issues as they came up and honing our systems. We are 3.5 years in now and have established a pretty smooth repair service. While some repairs are carried out in the shop, we differ from the traditional repair cafe model, as our repairers generally take their items home and work at their own convenience in their own workshops. We use a great software package that has been tweaked by its designers to accommodate our model, and we can track and update repairs through the whole process, right through to sending the customer a text to let them know their repair is ready for collection. The repairs range from toasters to saucepans and backpacks to music boxes, and we've had a few teary repair shop moments along the way. When the item is collected, the customer makes a voluntary contribution to the project. We have learned to be careful at this point to accommodate both the means of our customers whilst being mindful of valuing our volunteers' skills, time, and the sustainability of the service. It goes without saying there would be no project without the brilliant volunteers who fix stuff and work in our shop. The skills they bring, often accumulated over a working lifetime, are wide and varied, and the collaborative effort within the team for our collective cause is inspiring. It really is a great fun project to be part of. We now have 735 customers, 20 volunteers, and have had 1,986 repair items through our system. Of course, the joy of this business model is stuff keeps breaking. As the business evolved, we have come to realise that whilst the repair side forms the core of our work, other streams of income are needed to keep us sustainable and stable. We also sell some pre-loved items that have been donated to the project and make available, if needed, items for people in need in the community. The share element of the project has been part of the ethos from the start. The idea of the share side is that we keep a range of items that our community can borrow for a small fee. These are things that tend to be only used from time to time, are difficult to store, or might just be a bit expensive for people to buy. We have a variety of items from a carpet cleaner, trestle tables, gazebos, and even some champagne flutes. The aim, once again, is to reduce waste and make the best of what we have. We have gradually been building the library of things and honing the systems to make it work. Our very small shop space has been storing, displaying, and organising these items very challenging, so we are very pleased that thanks to the funding we have received, we have been able to increase our range of items and take on some additional shop space. We have been able to refit an area of the shop to display some of our share items, making it much easier for our community to understand what it's all about. The most recent addition to our shop service is the addition of our refill service. This fits perfectly with our waste reduction mission. Our customers bring their empty bottles to fill with these eco-friendly cleaning and personal care products, directly impacting plastic waste. It puzzles me that we have found ourselves using a system where we manufacture vessels from glass or plastic and then after just one use, melt them down or smash them up, just to manufacture something similar again, with all the energy and carbon emissions that entails. It seems to me that reusing makes much more sense. It's only single-use plastic if we use it once. We were able to trial a small range of products earlier this year, but have, with the support of the funding, been able to significantly expand our range of eco-friendly cleaning products and personal care products. We now have a steadily growing band of happy customers who are helping to drive down waste in Ilminster. Other aspects of our project also include hosting a collection for Donate IT, passing on suitable toys, tools and sewing machines to Tools with a Mission, and working with Sweet Surprise service users, dismantling irreparable items for recycling. We've been on quite a journey from the light bulb moment 3.5 years ago until now. Our little share and repair shop has evolved and gone from strength to strength and has become a real community hub of positivity for reducing waste and improving sustainability. We'd be delighted to see you if you wanted to come and visit us.
Good evening. It's a real pleasure to be here to share with you what's for us is a new pilot project. It's a community grant-making project in Yeovil. And I'm just here really to give you an overview because I could say a huge amount about it, but just to share with you what it is that we've been doing and a bit of background. So for some time, we've kind of realised that there are some areas of the county where we don't really see many applications. Yeovil sort of in particular stood out as one of those where we don't really see the number of applications we'd expect for the size of the town and the diversity of its communities. So we wanted to try a different approach, and that's one where we invest in the community by giving that power over to the community and letting them decide how to use a pot of money. So we have partnered with Spark Somerset, Joanna and Sarah, the community organisers who are based in Yeovil, and together, it's Joanna and Sarah, managed to put together a panel of 9 local residents. We wanted to focus on the Westfield and Birchfield parts of Yeovil as we felt they were the areas that would benefit the most. And so it was great that they brought those people together. We had some really good initial discussions, and the panel members were there to kind of share their experiences of their communities and what they thought the strengths were and what perhaps is needed, and then how they wanted to use that pot of money and kind of design a grant programme. So what we all decided to do was to ask the local community to submit sort of ideas of what they thought would be great to have, sort of activities, that kind of thing, and also the opportunity to ask for a pot of £500 to help them to kind of bring that idea to life. And we were really pleased. We had a great response from both areas. It was a kind of a mix of ideas and applications from individuals and also from some people representing local community groups. And yeah, the panel had some really great discussions in deciding who to award those £500 to. So although we had a fairly modest pot of money for the grant making, and we were able to, or the panel was able to award £3,000 in the Birchfield area and £3,000 in the Westfield area, so 6 grants altogether. For Westfield, this was for a Motivating the Teenage Mind course, benches and greenery, to start a tea and poetry group, a litter picking station, a knit and natter for them to get some, expand their craft offer, and also for a British Sign Language course. And then for Birchfield, they wanted to create a positivity tree, also park enhancements, a bookshare reading hut, a community garden, a tree trail, and for the Secret Santa, which is a project where they provide gifts for children to families nominated by the community who're having a really tough time. We did kind of see the differences between the two areas. I think Westfield has got a fantastic community centre, it's St Peter's Community Centre there, and they have got quite a few activities going on. So the ideas and the applications were largely around sort of new activities, whereas for Birchfield, whilst they have got a community centre, it's not really accessible to the wider community. And they don't really have a lot going on there. So actually a lot of their applications were focused on sort of enhancing the park and less so on the activities front, which I think is just a reflection of that community not used to having activities to do. So I would really like to say a big thank you to the Spark community organisers, and Joanna is here, and I know that they've been working really hard sort of putting the panel together, supporting the local residents to submit ideas and grant applications, and for those awarded, helping them to take those projects forward. And so, yeah, I'm sure you'd be happy to talk to anyone if they have any further questions on those grants and how those are progressing. Also, I'd love to say a big thank you to the community panel, for them to have stepped up and come forward, come together, and I can really see how I think, that they've just been brilliant, sharing their thoughts and ideas, and particularly Emma as well, coming to speak tonight.
I'm really excited to be standing up here tonight to be able to share with you my experience of sitting on a panel for the Yeovil Participatory making pilot. Being a member of the panel, whilst being a big responsibility, has been a privilege. I've had a unique opportunity to oversee a range of applications reflecting on the needs and visions to determine which would best suit the Birchfield community. As a local resident of the area, I was excited to have been asked to be part of the panel, as I've always had a passion for wanting to make a difference and knew that this would be something that would really be of benefit. Birchfield is an area which I would describe as lacking in activities and opportunities to get people engaged. One thing I have learned from being part of this experience is how to balance fairness and practicality. The process required a deeper look to determine which of the applications had real-world potential, making sure to ask questions such as, who will this benefit and how sustainable is this idea? Luckily, as a panel, we were able to come together on such discussions and talk about our thoughts on each application. Sitting alongside those with varying perspectives have been beneficial, as it has allowed us to see the applications in different lights, where one person saw the risks, another saw the potential, and this balance made for a perfect panel. I personally felt that I have sharpened many skills from sitting on this panel, skills such as critical thinking and communication, just to name a few. I have also gained a deeper sense of empathy from having to understand the applicants. It's been a great opportunity, and I would like to thank everyone who brought their ideas, energy and vision to the process. Having a community being part of deciding where and how this funding is used means that we're seeing people come together, actively getting involved and building stronger, fairer, more resilient communities. When people come together to decide their future, they don't just spend money, they create hope, opportunity and lasting change. Thank you.
Just in terms of how we're moving forward, so we are planning celebration events, one for Westfield, one for Birchfield, which I think is going to be really exciting. We've got the groups who've had grants coming along, going to run some activities. We've got some other local organisations coming along as well, and hoping that will bring local residents in so they can find out more about what we're doing, about who's been funded, what they can get involved in. And we're definitely going to continue. We're going to keep the panel going. And yeah, the idea is to repeat again next year, and it'd be really interesting, I think, to see what changes we might be seeing through the ideas and the applications. And I think this whole project already has enabled us to start having new conversations, make new connections. And for me, it's just been really exciting, and I'm so pleased to see how it moves forward.
So yeah, as Justin said, I've been invited to share just a little bit about our involvement with the foundation as a fundholder since 2009, which shocked me, I know, when I looked back, yes. We got involved initially through our business, Mayaka, and with our fair trade approach in that business, we had developed a number of initiatives supporting our overseas communities, and we felt really strongly that we also wanted to make sure that Mayaka was rooted in our community here in Somerset. It was where the business was based, where our team was based, and personally where I've born and raised. So I think what we're certainly hearing this evening is that that sense of home is really important. So initially we donated annually, and then an opportunity arose to invest for the longer term through an endowment fund. And at that time that was supported by match funding, so it was very much win-win. And we built the fund over a number of years, and it certainly remains modest, definitely compared to the 12 million total. But what it does do is it enables there to give annual consistent giving into projects within the community. And we've been able to support some really fantastic activities. Just a couple to mention, and we hear so many at each of these annual celebrations, but the Growing Space in Wincanton, that's a community garden and horticultural charity, provides access to food production and access to nature. GAPS, which is Guardian and Adoptive Parental Support Group in Wincanton, and also Home Start Blackmore Vale, both projects that help parents and carers and families during challenging times. And I could go on, and I think the point really is that there are more of these charities and organisations in our community than any one of us individually can possibly know about. And for me, that's really what the foundation provides, because it reaches those grassroots projects that provide those vital services. And there are really practical things as a fund holder, the essential governance, accountability, reassurance that your funds are being put to good and appropriate use. But beyond that, what we hear is how the team at the foundation really provide the support for these important ventures. They seek them out, they raise awareness of them, they amplify their reach, and I think really importantly, they provide that network and support to the really passionate individuals behind each of those organisations. And I'd also like to just share a slightly different angle, because I pivoted my career about 6 years ago when I exited Mayaka, and I went back to my sustainability roots. I now work at the University of Exeter Business School in the Centre for Circular Economy. So Sarah, hearing about your shop was just music to my ears, absolutely fantastic. But I manage research projects now at the intersection of kind of academia, industry and policy, where we're coming together and developing collaborations to find solutions to some of the grand challenges that we are facing. And I think the point around that is that scale has become the epitome of success in this current environment that we live in, and there's a relentless focus on growth. And I think my daily engagement with policymakers and industry is that we're recognising more and more that this becomes at the expense really of diversity and resilience. Pulling on a word that we were just hearing about the projects in Yeovil. But we're really strongly seeing the impact across the environment, society and economy around pollution and environmental degradation, the climate crisis, raising temperatures across our atmospheres and oceans, critical raw material challenges, which are in themselves creating geopolitical tensions, but also being exacerbated by those. And I share this detail not to lecture, because I think most people in the room are probably perfectly aware of the challenges we face. But when we really, truly consider that position, I think it's organisations like Somerset Community Foundation that are asking better questions. Because rather than asking, how do we make this bigger, they're asking, how do we make more of these? Excuse me just one moment. I thought there might be a lectern. I could just... So the point around that is that the foundation recognises that our resilient communities are built on these small-scale, locally nuanced interventions that and they really get funding to those grassroots projects delivering that for us in Somerset. And around those projects, they provide those enabling conditions that encourage those charities to succeed. So rather than attempting to scale big standardised models, we're encouraging innovation to thrive with place-based community action. And with that becomes diversity and resilience. So I was going to share an example of Prodigal Bikes in Crewcombe, which our funds gave a small donation to earlier this year. So this charity, it refurbishes donated bikes, it teaches engineering skills and gives work experience in the process to some people who perhaps could be advantaged by a second chance. The bikes are then either given to refugees and asylum seekers here, or they might be shipped to Africa where they're used perhaps for children to get to school or individuals to access healthcare. And then, not being one and done, the charity provides tools, spare parts and training to keep those bikes working. And for me, it's such a great success and example of value creation on really multiple levels. So socially, providing access, upskilling and education, and environmentally and economically through resource efficiency and keeping our products and materials in use for longer. So just small projects like that, the ripples of impact go much farther and wider than we perhaps consider. So I feel really proud to be part of Somerset Community Foundation. I really enjoy coming to the annual celebrations and hearing all the positivity. I value being able to support my community, but then at a systems perspective, I recognise the essential service that the foundation delivers to build resilience within our community. And it remains a pleasure to see Justin and the team develop the foundation as they have done over these years. And I've no doubt that the next 10-year strategy will just build on this and really continue to deliver for our community. Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of Michael Samuel, our chair, who's very frustrated not to be able to be here, and on behalf of our trustees, because we are absolutely, all we have to do, which really feels wonderful, is do very little as trustees. I'm quite new, so I can't take any glory for having appointed Justin or his wonderful team, but I think we can all say as trustees we have huge confidence, and it's a joy to see how they produce or they collaborate to produce the magic that we felt in this room today. I don't know how, I'm not going to spend long, because how do you follow talks like that? You can't. It was so inspiring, and there was some lovely little words that I'm taking home. I love, Georgie, the idea that it's a sense of space, a sense of home. This is our home, Somerset. Of course we want to make it as healthy and happy as we can. the idea, Emma, of what you're doing and at collaborating with the communities, you make fairer and stronger communities. And that wonderful, Sarah, the wonderful description that, where's Sarah gone? The description that you gave of what you're doing in Ilminster. So there's nothing more than I can say really to benefit, to close, but just to say thank you to all of you for all the parts that you are playing in your communities. Some of you are going to be new to the foundation, you don't know much about us, but we know the fact you're here means that you're already very engaged with the idea of making our communities even stronger and even happier. All of those who are already very connected, thank you very much. And I'm very aware that I'm standing between you and the next drink. So it's just to give yourselves, everybody, a huge applause for what you are creating and will go on to create into the future. Thank you.